Hi, I am Amy Schofield, Director of the Kershaw Library, and I am here today to talk about a children's literature classic. You'll see it in mirror because I'm recording this on my phone, but it says, if you can't read it, The Phantom Tollbooth by Norton Juster, and it's illustrated by Jules Pfeiffer. So this book was written in 1961. It is 59 years old. That's older than I am. So the question is, why would we want to read a book that's that old? What does it say about our life today? What can it tell us? What can it teach us? It's a classic, and usually books that are considered classics have something that is valuable to share with us. So the question is, how is it relevant today? Well, in this book, there is an introduction. Now, lots of books have introductions, and we don't always read them, but sometimes when you do, they are very interesting and tell you things about the book that you wouldn't know otherwise. Or they give you a viewpoint. And the introduction in this book was written in 1996, which was also kind of a long time ago, by a man named Maurice Sendak. You might know him from Where the Wild Things Are, a beautiful, beautiful classic picture book. And in 1996, Mr. Sendak writes, "The book treats in fantastical terms the dread problems of excessive lack of communication, conformity, cupidity," which I had to look up, means greed, "and all alarming ills of our time. Things have gone from bad to worse to ugly. The dumbing down of America is proceeding apace. Juster's allegorical monsters have become all too real." So in 1996, Mr. Sendak was saying that the Phantom Tollbooth was really talking about the problems that we have and we had in 1996. So the question is, do we still have them? The case could be made that we do. So Milo is the main character in this book. It's really Milo who we journey with into this fantastic land. So going through a magical portal into a fantastic place is familiar with other books like Alice in Wonderland, The Wizard of Oz, The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. So it's something that happens in children's books and sometimes adult books too. And in this case, Milo, who is a very, I would say, ungrateful and dissatisfied kid, gets to go on a magical journey. Now, Milo is the kind of person, when we meet him at the beginning of the book, and here he is, despondent, walking home. He has a wonderful place, has tons of toys. He seems to have a pretty good life. But he's kind of a person who really doesn't seem to appreciate what he has. It says, wherever he was, he wished he were somewhere else. And when he got there, he wondered why he'd bothered. Nothing really interested him, least of all the things that should have. So if you've ever known someone who was just always bored and dissatisfied no matter what, or if you felt that way yourself, then you might relate to Milo. But Milo goes home one day on this rainy day, and in his room is a mysterious package. He doesn't know where it came from. It's a toll booth. It's actually called the Phantom Tollbooth. And a toll booth, if you haven't seen one before, is a booth on a road, and you have to pay a toll. You have to pay some money if you want to use the road. So this kit creates a toll booth to use, gives him a map, and he decides, why not? I'll go on my magical journey. He actually already has an electric car. So as you can see, Milo has a lot of stuff. And so he takes his electric car and he goes on a journey through the Phantom Tollbooth. Now, one of the first places that he goes to is the Land of Expectations. And the Land of Expectations is a place where you go, where you always have to go when you're going somewhere else. And he meets a man there called the Weatherman. Now, it's not weather as in rain, fog, snow, sleet, hot. It's weather as in, I don't know whether I want to do it or not. And this weatherman is full of anxiety. He doesn't know what's happening. He's always unsure. He doesn't know what's happening next. He's a real anxious guy. And the point's made, like when you're about to do something, you might have that feeling all the time. Well, Milo, of course, wants to get out of there as quickly as possible. The point being, you're going to have expectations, but why be so anxious about them? The next place that he ends up is almost the exact opposite. He's saying he's on the road in his electric car and he's kind of enjoying things and he's driving along, and then he stops thinking. He just goes onto autopilot and he's not really thinking. And eventually he ends up in a place called the doldrums. And in the doldrums, it's actually illegal to think. He can't think at all. You're just supposed to sit there and waste time. And they give an example of how these doldrums waste time, and it reminded me of some days that I've spent where I thought I'd get a lot done, and I ended up just really not, and thinking about all the things I needed to do instead. So I could relate to the doldrums. How do you get out of the doldrums? Well, Milo's first friend, the watchdog, see, there's a watch on him. He's a dog. He's got a watchdog. Comes rushing down, barking, because these doldrums are talking about killing time, which is something that the watchdog is very opposed to doing. He considers it the wrong thing to do, an immoral thing to do. You don't waste time. Time is a gift. Time is important. Time is valuable. So he rushes down, starts barking at the doldrums, tells Milo that he needs to think. He needs to get himself out of the doldrums if he wants to get out of the doldrum. So Milo becomes engaged. He starts thinking. He starts reacting and appreciating the things that are around him, and they're on their way. Well, of course, the watchdog jumps in the car, because all dogs love a car ride, and they go on the journey together. Now, from there, the main crisis of the book unfolds, because the first place that Milo finds himself in after that is Dictionopolis. So Dictionopolis, we discover, is a place of words. People love words, the meanings of words. When they have a meal, they eat their words. Sometimes they're square meals. They're actually shaped like a square. There's lots and lots of puns in this book. And then there's another place called Digitopolis, ruled by the brother of the person who rules Dictionopolis. And they love numbers and facts, math. Math is all that's important. Well, the point's made that sometimes facts and information are not the most important thing. There is another kingdom called the Kingdom of Wisdom, where there are two sisters, Rhyme and Reason, who've been banished. Well, facts and words and information and all this hostility that's been brewing around who's right has created a lot of discord, a lot of unhappiness in these lands. So Milo and the watchdog, and also another friend called Humbug, go on a quest to bring Rhyme and Reason back to this world so that things can be restored and so that people aren't arguing all the time over who's right. Does that sound familiar? So Rhyme and Reason, the two sisters, I don't want to give it away. It does have a happy ending, which is nice. But one of the things that they say to Milo is that the road to Rhyme and Reason is made by the right mistakes. So Milo makes tons of mistakes. He doesn't know where he is. He's in a crazy world. He's unsure of himself, but he learns from his mistakes. He's always considering, so it's okay to make mistakes. So, in summary, the book tells us lots of things. Don't be so anxious about what is going on. You might have expectations, but don't be so overwhelmed by them. Be interested in where you are and who's around you. Sometimes it's not so important to be right about everything. Sometimes it's important to be kind. And it's okay to make mistakes. So are these the kind of things that we need to think about now? Yes. Does the Phantom Tollbooth do this in a fun way? Yes. And the illustrations are marvelous. Jules Pfeiffer also illustrated this great book, Bark George. So if you have a little one in your life, maybe a little brother or sister, or maybe you just like picture books yourself, this book is also really good and also very funny. So both Norton Juster and Jules Pfeiffer are really good at being insightful and being funny. So would I recommend The Phantom Tollbooth, even though it was written so long ago in 1961, 59 years ago? Did I mention that's even older than I am? Yeah. This book I would definitely recommend. So if you want to come and get a copy, please visit us at the library. We also have lots of copies of these on the bookmobile, so check out our bookmobile schedule on the website too. And I hope you will join us at the library this summer. Thanks.